Hi, you guys. This is the cumulative review test retake checklist and video for your test corrections. So in order to be able to retake this test, you need to watch this video, correct all the problems that you missed, and then you need to complete the cumulative review test retake extra practice in Alex. So that is found in the cumulative review Math 8 core folder. You can see it says cumulative review test retake extra practice. You have to do that at 100%, and then after you have done that, you need to do the cumulative review test retake. You can do that before school or after school, or if you watch this video and do your test corrections and complete your Alex assignment sometime during this video, I will be giving you the password for that retake so that you can do that at home if you want. Okay. So let's go ahead and go through this. The first part of this test requires you to classify each number as rational or irrational. Remember that a rational number is any number that can be written as a fraction. So if we are classifying this as rational or irrational, repeating decimals can be written as fractions. So we would say that this is rational. 2.6 repeating is really 2 2/3 written as a fraction. And so, because that can be written as a fraction, we say rational. On this one, we are given a fraction. So when we ask the question, can a fraction be written as a fraction? We would say, yes, it's already a fraction. So that one would be rational. This one is a decimal that doesn't terminate or doesn't end. It's one of those ugly decimals. So that one is irrational. Okay, on this one, many of you missed the instruction part of this, which says to evaluate. Evaluate means simplify it, figure out what the answer is, plug it into your calculator. Square root of 144 is 12, and then the cube root of 64. Remember to do this one, you have to use the button on your calculator that looks like this. So in your calculator, you've got to tell the calculator you're doing the cube root, and then you do second, and then you find this button, right? And then that is going to put this x as a 3, and then you do 64. Okay, so in your calculator, it will show the cube root of 64. So what multiplies by itself 3 times to get to 64? And that is a 4. Okay, so that one's a 4. Okay, next set of problems. Okay, for this one, I'm going to draw it down below so that I can make sure that I clearly go through each of the steps of how we simplify this expression. Remember, when you are simplifying expressions, you have to pay careful attention to the details. So, first thing we're going to do is distribute anything that can be distributed. So we have this -2. This negative sign right here in front of this parenthesis, we can really distribute that as a -1. That negative is going to change the signs of everything in the parenthesis to their opposite. So let's go ahead and do both of our distributions, and then we will combine our like terms. Okay, so -2 times positive 2x is -4x. -2 times by a -2. Anytime there's a subtraction sign in front of a term, you need to remember that that term is really negative. So -2 times -2 is positive 4. And then we have a -1 times 3x, which is -3x, and a -1 times a positive 5, which is a -5. And then we still have our -4. So next thing we need to do is combine our like terms. We have a -4x and a -3x. That would make a -7x. And then we also have a positive 4, a -5, and a -4, all of which are constants that don't have any variables. We can always combine numbers with numbers. So 4 plus a -5 plus a -4 is a -3 final answer. And you can't combine these because they're not like terms. This one is a variable term, and this one is a constant. So you can never combine variable terms with constants. Okay, and then on the next one, we're going to do the same thing. We are going to simplify. On this one, we're just combining our like terms. So when we have a 2a to the third, a positive 6, a positive 5a to the third, and a negative 10, we know that these two are like terms because they both have the same variable to the same power. And when you combine like terms, you combine the coefficient, so that's going to be a 7, and then the variable, an exponent, stays the same. So 7a to the third, when we combine that with a 5a to the third, we get 7a to the third. We are not multiplying these. We're just combining like terms. And then 6 and a negative 10 makes a negative 4. Okay, last two problems on this one. What two whole numbers does the square root of 2 fall between? So when you put the square root of 2 in your square root of 22 in your calculator, you're going to see that that's an irrational number. This is a decimal that doesn't repeat and doesn't end. The two whole numbers that it was in between were 4 and 5. And really it was like 4.69, and then there was like a whole bunch of numbers like after that, right? It's a decimal that doesn't repeat and doesn't end. So this was 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. And remember that when you are approximating an irrational number on the number line, it is never on an exact location. Because this decimal never repeats or never ends, we can only approximate it. So you should have done your approximation as almost to the 7, but not right on the 6 or not right on the 7, because this number falls somewhere in between those two. Okay, so now after you've done this video, just finished this video, the next thing I want you to do is go to Alex, and you are going to do this cumulative review, retake extra practice at 100%. And then this test retake will open up for you if you have the password. And the password is review, REVIEW. So review, that's the test password. Make sure that if you complete these things that you let me know, because remember, Alex does not communicate with me. So if you finish something in Alex, you need to email me and let me know so I can update your grade. Thanks, guys.